your glory.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Cortina Jackson, and you are listening to What's on Cortina Jackson's Mind. Well, we're not going to listen to what's on my mind because I tell you what was on my mind was when I got an opportunity to talk to this beautiful lady before me. And normally when I do these podcasts, I always get the opportunity to talk a little bit beforehand and just kind of get some insight and, a little bit about the person. But I tell you what, the day that I talked to this wonderful guest, I was so blessed that it didn't turn into information gathering. It ended up being something for my soul. And I was blessed the entire week. And I tell you what, I am excited to introduce you all to my blessing, Miss Pearl Gibson.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, we're so happy to have you, and just what an honor it is to be able to talk with you. You have such wisdom and such a beauty about you that it truly is a blessing. And I believe, the things we're going to talk about that's just going to be normal conversation is going to turn into something that's going to just be beautiful and bless people. So thank you very
Amen.
much. Thank you.
Amen.
Well, we're going to jump into this and learn about you because
Okay.
I know about you. I want the world to know everything about you that you're willing to disclose, of course. But
Okay. I'm
you
transparent.
Oh, good, good, good. Because the things that you've been through, and the things that God has taken you through, I believe it really blessed me. So here we go. You reside currently in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yes, I do. I think since about 2012 or February 2013, somewhere in there.
Wow. Okay. So you have to tell everyone what led you to Colorado because you weren't always there. Where were you originally?
No, I was in uh, Ellsworth. I think the little town was called um, Rapid City, South Dakota.
Oh, wow.
And the Air Force base there is called Ellsworth. So my son and his wife were in the Air Force back then, and they both were being deployed, and they had 4 small children. And I was residing in Columbus, Georgia, with my husband, and we were pastoring 2 churches at the time. And when my son asked me if I would come out and watch the children, um, when I asked my husband, he was like, he didn't want me to leave him. So
Yeah.
he retired so that we could move to this little city called Box Elder. If you blink when you're going through it, you'll miss it. But it was an Air Force base there. And so when we were getting ready to leave to go there, God told me that it would be more than just the babysitting that we would do. And so we moved to Box Elder, South Dakota. And we stayed there about 5 or 6 years, but we did start a church. We not
Hmm.
only started the church, we saw quite a few people get saved in that
Wow.
church. God healed people that had diseases. One lady had cancer, and God healed her of cancer. And I saw her a few years ago, and she wanted me to know that she was still cancer free.
Wow.
Um, and
Wow.
one lady, she told me that her mother stepped in her back when she was a small child and
Wow.
crushed her pelvis. And so one day she came to church, and I invited her, and she came, and she did not want me to touch her because she said, I don't want to end up on the floor. I don't know why she thought she would end up on
Oh,
the floor.
goodness.
And I asked her, did she want me to pray for her?
Oh,
And she said, yes, but don't touch me. And I said, I don't have to touch you to pray for you. And so I began to pray for her. And after I prayed for her, she left and went in the bathroom. And my
oh,
daughter-in-law said she came out of the bathroom, and she was telling her that while she was in the bathroom, she jumped up and down, she turned all around, she squat, trying
Wow.
to see if the pain would come back, and the pain was gone.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I saw God move miraculously. You know, people were getting jobs, people were being blessed. I remember one of the young men in the church, um, he didn't have a job and he needed money. And God told me that it was on a Sunday afternoon, and God said, "You're going to be financially blessed tomorrow," which would have been that Monday. That Monday morning, he got up and found all this money in his house.
Goodness. My God. You know, that
Oh
show, God
my!
is
It
still
gives
in
me
the
chills.
miracle business.
Yes, it gives me chills. But you know, when we seated for the ministry, we sat around the table, and God said we were seed for the ministry, and I still have that bag. And in the bag, it has the seeds, the seeds that were planted for that ministry, because He said that that God said that we will do miracles in that place. And so I saw miracles happen in there. One day we were praying, and God told me that one of the ladies wanted a daughter, and
Mm.
but she had two boys, and God told her He was going to give her a daughter, but she had two more boys before she had the daughter.
Wow.
And everybody was telling her she had enough children at 4,
Huh.
but her husband came to me, and he said, you know, I trust God. He said, but you know, everybody is telling me that I need, you know, we have enough children and I need what I need to do. And I said,
Right.
listen, do you trust God to give you what you ask for? And he said,
Mm-hmm.
yes, ma'am. I said, then you will have it the next time that she get pregnant. You will have your daughter. But the baby boy had to be born because
Hmm.
God has special things for him to do. So he had to be here. Now, if she had had the little girl, the other children wouldn't have been here.
That's
And
right.
there's purpose for them. And so, but God did give them their daughter. One day we were in the little what they call this chicken place. It's really, really popular. And I saw this lady come in, and she had 4 boys and a girl.
Huh.
And in my spirit said, that's Candace. And so when I went back to the table, I said, you know, the Lord said that that was you with the 4 boys and the daughter, and the daughter
Hmm.
was the baby. And she just laughed.
Oh,
So yes, she has her 4 boys and her daughter.
wow.
And and you know how we got to Colorado Springs was one day out of the blue, God said to me, now it was out of the blue to me, but it was never out of the blue for God. He said to me,
Right.
we were going to be moving to Colorado Springs. I told my husband we were moving to Colorado Springs, and he said, God didn't tell me that.
Right.
But you know, but let me tell you, God did have to tell him that. And we moved to Colorado Springs because nothing he tried to do worked.
Mm.
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Um, we came here, he got a job here and everything. We went back to South Dakota, and he was going to work in South Dakota. And I said, but you're looking for a job in South Dakota when God said we're moving to Colorado Springs.
Mm.
And that job didn't last a month.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It didn't, you know. And so we ended up moving to Colorado Springs. And one day when we got here, we got out the car at McDonald's, and I looked around and I seen all these giants. And I said, God, I see all these giants. They were just like standing all around, you
Huh.
know. And God said, but greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And
Yes.
I was I was a little anxious when I got out of the car and I seen all the giants. And at the time, I did not understand what God was trying to tell me about this place.
Hmm.
And so, but later on, I realized that there are many, many giants here, and they're not of the good kind.
Right.
And so, um, but you know, God gave me comfort because he said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And when I got here, I got here in February. I had a heart attack in June. I was in this church preaching for Father's Day, and I had a heart
Goodness.
attack in the pulpit.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
about a year after that, I had a small bowel obstruction, and that almost took me out. I stayed in the hospital for 32 days. I went
Oh,
in rehab for another 30 days. I went to my daughter's house for I don't know how long because I had to wear a womb vac for about 4 or 5 months.
oh,
Um, and then after that, um, I found out that I had blood clots, and then I had that to deal with, and then I had to
mm,
have back surgery. Then I had to have cervical spine surgery. But
oh,
none of it kept me from doing the ministry, and none of it kept me from doing what God had put on my heart to do. Because as long as I have breath in me,
yes,
no matter what happens to the body, I'm not worried about what happens to the body. I'm worried about what happens to the soul. See, man can do a lot of things to the body, but they can't touch the soul.
yes, yes,
I don't fear. I don't fear what man can do to me. I fear
yes.
what God can do to me.
Oh my goodness. And I think they had
That's
told you that you were even the doctors had given up on you and told you you would die and you know just your resilience that you didn't let this set you back or stop you. You kept the faith. And I say that because a lot of people now you've told me about the many surgeries you went through and
oh
some
yeah.
people, you know, when especially in their pain and affliction, after a while, you just give up. Like, where, God, where are you? I don't even believe you're there to let me go through such torment. What kept you?
But the thing for me was, um, now when I stood now all these surgeries that I had prior was because I was having problems, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I had a tumor, and I said okay. He said we're going to go in and remove the tumor and you'll be fine, and I said okay. Well, I went in the hospital, and he left me bleeding inside for 3 days.
Mm.
And my blood count was 34 on Friday, and it was down to 16 on Sunday afternoon. I
Oh,
was
Lord.
bleeding to death, and all the blood was in my abdominal area. And so, but let me tell you that Saturday evening, I was having a lot of pain, and I called the nurse, and they just turned my light off. I called the nurse, she cut my light off, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was in so much pain. I fell out the bed trying
Oh,
to
my
get help for
goodness.
myself. One lady told me while I was in there, pretending to be sick, that my husband gonna find him somebody else.
Oh,
Um, one nurse told me that I was pretending because there was nothing wrong with me, and she was gonna
oh,
move. She was gonna move the lady that was in the room with me that had the same surgery I had, but she was doing just fine. Um,
oh,
and she told me, she said, but I'm not gonna let them move me out of here, because if they move me out of here, you won't get any help.
oh,
And
my
that Sunday
Lord.
afternoon around 2 o'clock, my pastor came to visit, and he asked me what I wanted. But let me tell you this, that
Mm.
Saturday evening, there were two ladies came around to my room, a dark skinned lady and a light skinned lady, and they were big, big, tall women. Um, they came and took me to the restroom. They asked me, what can they do for me? And I said, I really need to go to the restroom. They
Uh-huh.
picked me up, took me to the restroom, one under each arm. And I was talking to them on the way to the restroom, and I said, one of the ladies asked me, what do I want God to do for me? I said, I want them to find out what's wrong, because something is wrong with me. Um, and so she said, well, and the other lady said to me, they will know. Just like
Mm.
that. She said, they will know. And I remembered that when my pastor came at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon to see me, and he asked me, what did I want God to do? We were getting ready to pray. I said, one of the nurses asked me that last night, what I wanted God to do for me. And I said, I want the doctors to find out what's wrong with me, because something is wrong.
Yes.
Well, come to find out, the two ladies, when I was trying to tell the nurse about them, she said, there's no such people as that work.
Oh, my
They didn't know.
goodness.
they didn't have any such people working on the floor.
Oh
And I
my
said, are you sure? Because they came in the room and they got me and they took me to the restroom. And she said, no, ma'am, we don't have two such people working here in the evening.
Oh wow.
We don't even have two such people working here at all. But that Sunday evening, they
Mm,
found out that I was bleeding inside and they put me in intensive care. They had to give me 6 pints of blood just to take me back to surgery.
wow.
In intensive care, the doctor stood at the foot of my bed and told me that we just have to pray that I make it through the night.
Mm,
Because if they try to take me back to surgery now, I would die on a table. And I turned to the window. There was a window in
uh-huh.
there, and they had the bed rails pulled all the way up. And I remember reaching into the bed rail, and I said, Lord, I'm not afraid to die. I'm
Mm,
not afraid, but who's going to take care of my children? Because my children were 1, 2, and 3, and 5 years
mm.
old. And that Monday morning, they took me back to surgery. They stopped the bleeding. I caught a staph infection. Everything scarred over. They couldn't get my blood pressure down. I was in critical condition. And when the doctor came around and asked me how I slept, I said I would have slept fine if they had left me alone. They were messing with me every 15 minutes.
Mm.
He just shook his head. He just shook his head and just walked out. Um, God just gave me so much comfort. Um, Even though they didn't expect me to live, I felt fine. You know,
Wow.
I was having I was at the time I wasn't having a lot of pain. Um, I was really, really sick, but
Yes.
I didn't feel like I was really, really sick, because my heart and mind was on the Lord. And He just kept me in that perfect peace.
Mm.
And so from that surgery, I had 17 bowel surgeries trying to correct what they did.
Wow.
They took off so much of my bowel that right now I only have enough of my small bowel to live on, because this last time they sectioned five pieces of
My
my
God.
bowel. I had my sigmoid colon is removed. I've had
Oh,
one of my ovaries embedded in my colon. Um,
wow.
and I've had all these surgeries to try and correct, the mistake that they
Yes.
made. And so, but over the years, I'm not bitter toward God, because if it were not for Him, I don't believe I would be where I am today.
No.
Because in my suffering, it just made me dig in.
Mm,
In my suffering, it brought me closer to the Lord, because I had nowhere else to go.
mm.
I had
Yes.
nowhere else to go but to Him. And I stayed before Him.
Yes.
And in that staying before God, would just bless. I remember a girl told me one time, she says, I need you to pray with me because my mom says she's going to hurt somebody. And I just fell on my knees and prayed, asked God to just confuse her and bring her home. She
Mm.
walked through the door about 5 minutes later and she says, I got so confused, I had to come home. I couldn't find anybody.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it had got to the place in my life when I pray, I expect God to move. I
Yes.
do. I just expect God to move, because He has proven to me over the years. You know, how do we have faith in someone? Is that we trust them to do what they say.
Right.
And I trusted God over the years because He's been faithful to me.
Mm.
And I feel like this. I will not. I don't like the consequences. I go out there and do something. There's consequences in everything we do.
That's right.
And I don't want to suffer the consequences of it, so I don't do it.
Hmm.
And I feel like because God has blessed me so much that if I do something, it'll be harder on me because
Yes.
of all the blessings that He has bestowed upon me. Because, much is given, much is required.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Um, I
Amen.
believe that God saved me for such a time as this. I truly do. And I
Yes.
believe that I'm in Colorado Springs for such a time as this. I found out that being in Colorado Springs, there are witches here. There are
Mm.
warlocks here. There are lots of evil here. There's a lot of injustice here. Um,
Mm.
and, one day I was talking to the Lord, and I said, all these churches, there are so many churches here. And I,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a conglomerate of people, a lot of people, um, and you would think that all these people come together and pray, praise and fast, that
Uh-huh.
something will happen, that
Yes.
that 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 things will move, you go, you see people that's doing all these awesome things, but things staying the same. I mean, you're doing these
Uh-huh.
awesome things, but they're such in like one place. Why we can't all get together, the ones that say we truly love the Lord and truly live for him, and come against all this evil in the
That's
world
right.
today? Because the enemy is running ragged. He is just running ragged over this
Oh,
place. We
yes.
have all this evil going on in the world today. um and I, this is just my feeling, and I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like that even myself, I feel like I wasn't praying enough. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't doing enough. It seems like, we say we can't do anything, but don't tell me we can pray. Prayer
Yes.
moves God, and prayer changes things. So if we come together and we have a corporate prayer, I believe
Uh-huh.
things will change. I truly
Yes.
do. I believe we could call some of this evil unto our feet. Because how is it that we have all these Christians that are supposed to be in this world, and all these churches that are supposed to be preaching salvation and Christianity and God and all this, and all this evil is running rapid? I don't get it.
Right.
I don't understand it. I truly don't. Because the Bible said one can put 1,000 to flight, but two
Uh-huh.
can put
But two,
10,000 to flight. I just think,
yes.
how many can 1,000 people put? Because God's math is not like ours.
No.
One can put 1,000, and two can put 10,000. So if just if
Yes.
all of us come together and pray about the evil and the injustice in this world, just in Colorado Springs, just for the people here in Colorado Springs, how God will move.
Yes.
We
You
have
know,
church, right? We come to church, we have good church, and then we leave, and then we don't come together again to Bible study, and then
that's
we
right.
leave, and then we come back to church again, and then we leave. What are we going to do outside there?
That's
What are
right.
we going to do outside there? Ministry is outside. It's not in the church, it's outside the doors.
Mm.
We are supposed to be the church reaching out in the world. That's who we are supposed to be.
Yes.
To the people, to the so many people out there just waiting to be told about the goodness of God.
That's been lost. I don't know what's happening. I think I shared with you, even here in Dallas, how, yes, we're surrounded by many, many churches here, yet it seems like the murder rate has gone up tremendously. Like you said, the injustices. And I shared with you how I was praying one night on my balcony. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I began to pray. And God showed me a black cloud over the Dallas area, and he showed me how witches and these warlocks, like you were saying, these different ones were literally praying for death and mayhem over the city. And I could almost see it as a vision, that there was this black cloud, and as soon as they prayed and this black cloud went over the city, murder and police shootings and killings and gang. It's been so much here in the Dallas area. And I said, I'm praying here, and then in a little bit, I'm gonna go get in the bed. I'm gonna pray. Thank you, Lord. Lord, help us. And then, we don't pray. Sometimes these people pray for hours, for days.
Yes,
They go
yes,
into
yes,
hospitals. They go
yes,
into everywhere and pray for death. And we
yes.
get so tired. We have so much going on. And yes, yes. Same with
You
you
know,
out here.
God told me this, you know, um, that He called us to be ambassadors.
Mm,
We tie ourselves down with a lot of things. We tie
yes.
ourselves down with children. We tie ourselves down with our husbands. We tie ourselves down with our jobs. Tie ourselves down with our wives. But God
Mm,
called us to be ambassadors. And we say we put God first, but where do we put God in the midst of all of that? Where do
right.
we put him? You know, we say we don't have time in the morning. We get up and we're running late, and we got the children, we got this, we got that, but we're supposed to give God the first fruits.
Mm.
So when we get up early in the morning and we give God, if we get up early in the morning and just give God what belonged to Him, the time
Yes.
that He requires of us, because God will fix the rest of our day.
Yes.
He will make all these things that we are in need of. If we would do what God say do, He will fix all of that. All of
Mm.
that, our day would go so much better and so much smoother if we would get up in the morning and pray and ask God even to set our day, for His glory.
That's
you
right.
know our days will go so much better. I know when I get up in the mornings and I'm praying and I'm talking to the Lord, sometimes I fall asleep there
Uh-huh.
talking to Him, and my day goes so much better. It's like everything, like I have time for everything, like everything moves like it's supposed to. I remember the things I'm supposed to remember. you know
Uh-huh.
it's like God just set the tone for my day.
That's
you
right. He'll
know
do it.
but then when I get up in the mornings and I don't have time to pray, or I lay there because I'm lazy, and I talk to Him, in the bed, and then I'm dragging up, and that's what is that? Now I'm,
Yeah.
I'm talking about me now, because I know God has done some awesome things in my life, awesome things.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then sometimes um, I still feel that I need to get up in the morning and give Him my first fruit. I
Yes.
truly do.
Yeah.
Because I believe that that's His, and that He can tell me what it is that He need me to do. But if I'm all busy in the middle of the
Hmm.
day, God can't speak to me because I'm too busy with all this other stuff in my head. And even
Exactly.
if He didn't, wouldn't have time to do anything, because I've already piled all this other stuff on me until I don't have the time.
Mm. Mm.
And so one day, though, for real, God told me, He says that the enemy is running ragged in this place. And I
Mm.
stopped in my tracks, and I thought to myself, Lord, and what are we doing? Because are we afraid?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't say that we don't have what we need, because God gave us what we need. We just don't use it.
Right.
Are we afraid to use it? Are we afraid to come against? What if God is for you, what is there for you to fear?
That's right.
I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like that I feel like, some of us don't want our lives interrupted. We
Exactly.
we are happy with the three cars and the big house and we just don't want to. We got the good job, and we
Hmm.
got the good education, but we don't realize that without God, none of this stuff would be possible.
That's right.
Um, the Bible say God give us health to make wealth, and so
Right.
without that, we wouldn't have it. And the Bible says that all good things come from God. All good things come from Him. So the things that we have that we say are good, we say, well, I got out and worked and made that, but God made it possible for you to be able to do that.
Uh-huh.
But yet
Yes.
we don't give Him enough praise. The Bible says He wants to inhabit our praise. No,
Mm.
we just don't give Him enough. I remember one day I was praising God so hard I was sweeping the floor.
Mm.
And I was talking to the Lord, and I got to praising Him, and that song was on my heart, and I was just praising God. Um, and I had to throw that broom down, and I
Mm.
was shouting all over the floor. But you can't shout these days. You got to sit all uh, perfectly correct. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Correct. And you can't. Sometimes we have a problem raising our hand. We want to raise our hand, but we just
Uh-huh.
put it
We
right
just,
here. Oh
yeah.
my, even that's a praise. That's
Yes.
a praise. Throw both hands up. That's a praise.
Right.
If we were to come together and just do what the word said, God would truly bless us. He will bring some of this evil under subjection. He will move. God will move. I
Yes.
truly believe that. I truly believe it.
I do too. I do
Truly.
too. Oh
Um,
gosh.
it is so awesome that And I told God one day, I said, Lord, I know you saved me for a reason. One day when I was at my daughter's house after I had that surgery and that,
Uh-huh.
and I had to, because they couldn't sew me up because I had that surgery. I stayed in intensive care for almost 3 weeks. They
Mm.
had to leave me open. And so they had the womb back on me. And
Uh-huh.
I got up one morning and we were going to church because even in I call it the nursing home, but it's rehab. It's still
Uh-huh.
a nursing home. But my husband would come and pick me up and take me to church
Hmm.
because I had to go to church. He would get the wheelchair and wheel me in there, and then I'd spend my time and he'd take me back to the nursing home, and the next Sunday he'd get permission and he wheel me back to church. And he wheel me back. I don't stay out of church, and anybody know me know I don't stay out of church because every opportunity I have, I'm praising God. That's at work,
Yes.
at home, at play, wherever I'm at, I'm praising God. My daughter told me one time, she said, "Oh, I should have known. Um, you get in a corner, you talk, 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 talk." And then I said, "Yeah, but I'm talking about the Lord." She said, and I knew he was coming up.
Oh, goodness.
I told her one day, and I didn't know how to answer this question. She said to me, Mom, she says, you know, I just want to have a mom. I just want to talk to my mother. And
Hmm.
I didn't quite know what to do with that because
Huh.
I was telling her, now this is what she said. Everything I was telling her was God this and God that and God that. She said, I just want to have my mom. And I
Hmm.
looked at her and I said, your mother and that woman is the same. I can't
Mm.
separate her. I have been saved since August 21st, 1977.
Wow.
And God has
Wow.
been good to me. Let me tell you, He has been good to me. Um, it's like this. When you're in a relationship with someone, the
Mm-hmm.
more time you spend, the more you know of them. The
Yes.
quality of time you spend, um, the better you get to know them.
Hmm.
And so the time that I spend with the Lord um, is more than not. And then I
Yes.
feel like I don't spend enough. When my
Yes.
husband and I got married, my husband said to me, "You you act like you cheating on God or something." He said, "I'm your husband."
Oh.
Because I wanted to always, I said, hold on a minute, I'm spending time with God. I would always say that I'm spending time with God.
Uh-huh.
God, in just a minute, but I'm spending time. And he said, "But Pearl, I'm
Wow.
your husband,
Oh,
and God gave you to me, so I know He wants you to spend some time with me." I didn't know what to do with that.
goodness.
I did not know what to do with that. And let me tell you, I I had prayed. Now, this is something I prayed for. Now, we have
Uh-huh.
to be careful what we pray for, or really
Right.
pay attention to what we pray for, because I wanted a husband that would pay me some attention, that would spend time with me,
Wow.
that would love me enough, that want to spend time with me. And
Yes.
God gave me just that. And then now, those times when I want to be with God all by myself, I
Uh-huh.
remember what I prayed for,
That's
because my
true.
husband he is so attentive. He's a touchy-feely person. He's lovable and he loves spending time with me. Um,
Oh,
and that's one of the things that's what I asked God for, and that's what God gave me.
yes.
Um, Now I wouldn't have chose my husband for me, but
Hmm.
God chose him for me because God knew what was best for me.
That's right.
And I was willing to let God choose him for me.
Ah, that's good.
Because sometimes, we want what we want. The heart
That's
wants what it
right.
wants.
Yes.
But the Bible says you can't trust it because it's deceitful.
Mm.
So sometimes we call ourselves in love and how the heart just set us up for failure
That's, oh
because we're
gosh.
so in love with this person and all of this, and come to find out the person is no good for us at all.
That's very true.
You
Very
know,
true. I'm a
and
witness.
so we have to trust God. When God brought my husband into my life, um, I told God, it's okay, Lord, if I have a husband or not, it's okay with me. And God said, I need a covering. I needed a covering
Mm, mm,
for the ministry that was in me. I needed a covering. So um, he was a pastor at the time,
mm.
and he was, oh my gosh, he was so big, arms big like this, big. He lift weights and all that.
Uh-huh.
I weighed maybe 118 pounds.
Oh, goodness.
Look, and I wore a pain pump for 9 years. A
Wow.
pain pump for 9 years.
Wow.
Um, and one day we were in prayer, and God told me the pain pump was coming out.
Mm,
Um, and the reason is because I felt like when I had to make a choice about getting the pain pump, I was in so much pain,
uh-huh.
but I was praying and asking God to heal me. And
Right.
so the pain was so bad. I said yes to the pump. And then I felt guilty because I
Mm,
felt like I didn't wait to give God, I felt like I didn't wait on God,
yes.
even though I was hurting like that. And then, so I wore that pain pump for 9 years.
Wow.
And when I met my husband, I had it, and he was like, "What is a pain pump?"
Huh.
And I said, "It's inside my body." How do they feel it? They have this needle that they have to make sure they put it right in the hole of the pump to put the medication.
Goodness.
And one time the catheter came undone,
Oh.
and it's stuck in my spine, and it's still
Oh.
in there. And so
Oh my
um,
goodness.
I had to get it reconnected because I was in a lot of pain, and I kept saying the pain pump is not working. And so they kept upping the medication,
Mm,
but it was just going into my skin. And
yes.
so the doctor said, "Well, we're gonna have to take you and get some X-rays and find out what's going on." Well, they put me in front of this imaging machine, and he said, "Oh, that's your problem." My
Oh
my catheter had come undone from the pump, so the medication weren't going into my spine like it was supposed to be.
my
And
God.
so, but the catheter was embedded in my spine, and they just clipped it off. It's still in there. They wouldn't
Oh.
move it because they said that it would be more surgery, more
Oh.
invasive surgery. So at times it gave me a lot of problems, but
Oh.
they reconnected the pump, and then I could get some relief. But
Yes.
I was I didn't know how he was going to take it when I told him I had a pain pump and all of that.
Right.
But that didn't matter to him. It did
Oh.
not matter. He um he was very let me share this with you. One day we were going to get coffee, and
Uh-huh.
he was trying to help me get into the truck, and I wasn't used to that. I'm used to getting myself in the van and out or in and out of the car. Unless my son, I have a son that's very attentive. He would do that. But
Yes.
he was opening the door for me and trying to help me in the truck. And I snatched my arm so I hurt myself. And I was like,
Mm.
he said, "What's the matter?" Oh, I didn't want him to touch me. I didn't want him to, and he said, "I'm sorry." He took his hands off. And then
Oh.
I felt some kind of way after I got in the truck, and I just prayed. And I said, "Lord, you're going to have to help me with this,
Yes. Yes.
because I was by myself a long time." And I felt like I was, I said this to him. And once we got into the restaurant, I said, "I'm really sorry about that, but don't touch me because I'm
Oh.
not your wife, and I don't want you to touch me like that. Don't put your hands on me like that."
Uh-huh.
And so he respected it though. He thought I was a little weird. Um,
Yes.
he thought I was a little weird. And so we went on and had coffee and all that. We talked, and I went and visited his church, and I would go to Bible study with them, and um, we would go out to dinner and stuff like that. We would sit and talk. And then all day long, my phone would ring. Hello. And it was him. If
Mm.
he wasn't calling me, I was calling him because it was just something about him. Now, when I first saw him, I was like, "No, God, this is not it." This is not. My mother had this thing. She says that I'm color struck. You heard people say that, how you get color
Yes.
struck, you know.
Uh-huh.
My husband is really light skinned, and I never like light skinned men. I
Huh.
always like darker skinned men. And so when I met my husband and I looked at him, I was like, oh no. But
Mm,
let me tell you, you cannot judge the book by the cover. You got to read the whole book.
that's right.
Some people try to turn all the way to the back of the pages to read, and then they want to know what happened, so
Mm-hmm.
they go all the way to the back of the book and then they read. But you can't get it all like that. You have to
Right.
read it page by page by page, and there's a reason for that.
Yes.
um, I realize that God know me better than I know me.
That's right.
He knew my needs better than I know my needs. um, and
Mm.
he gave me the best gift for
Ye-
me.
Yes.
We had a beautiful wedding and he paid for the whole thing,
Wow.
whatever I wanted.
Oh,
We had a beautiful church ceremony. And, I just, everything that I had always wanted, I
uh-huh.
had. And then I asked, I was kind of worried about um, being sick all the time, you know,
Yes.
but, God said, I gave him to you for the things that you already need of. And I gave him to you for the things that he have need of. And
Yes.
so we complement each other.
Yes.
He could take care of. I was sick one time, and he picked me up and ran with me. Um,
Oh.
he ran all the way to where I was one time because I got really, really sick. The pump was malfunctioning, and it gave me too much medication, and it
Mm.
paralyzed me. And so he ran. He ran about 3 miles to where I was at.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. He told me he used to go to the gym all the time, and he told me that he had to stay in shape because I may need I may need him to pick me up and carry me.
Oh wow. Oh
So
wow.
see, people who are waiting on God to bless them,
Wait.
wait on the Lord, because the enemy will send you an imitation. He
Yes, he
send you
will.
something that's imitating it, but it's not the real thing.
Yes.
Don't be fooled by that. If you believe that God is sending you someone and you feel like it's not working out and you feel like it's not God, hang in there. Because if you
Yes.
hang in there and you're trusting God, if it's not him, God will let you know. But
That's
if it
right.
is him, you hang in there, because I at the beginning I could not see I just couldn't see how that was going to work. And then one day God said, but he's going to be your husband.
Huh.
Oh my God, I cried.
Oh
I
goodness.
cried like a baby. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just cried. I just cried.
Oh.
Because I could not tell God that he wasn't going to be my husband after God had
Yes.
told me he was. He was going to be my husband no matter what I had to do.
Yes.
But I just, at the time, I cried because I just could not see it. But God
Yes.
said, but wait on me.
Yes.
Wait on me. And I waited. And
Mm.
everything God told me, he's saying your latter years will be greater than your first. I
Oh.
am living my latter years.
Oh
I'm
wow.
living my latter years. Even with all the pain that I suffer, oh my God, I
Mm.
would not trade it for anything in the world. Not anything in the world. I live in a beautiful 5-bedroom home. Um, I have, let's
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 12 rooms in my house.
Wow.
13. I have 13 rooms in my home, um, that God blessed us with.
Wow.
Um, I don't have to worry about my doctor's appointments because my daughter-in-law, she makes sure that I get there.
Mm.
She takes really good care of me. Um, I just thank God for her. She
Yes.
picks up all my medications because the doctor don't want me driving because of my cervical spine.
Yes.
And my arms hurt all the time because I got to have a fourth surgery on my cervical spine. spine.
Oh man,
Mm.
goodness.
But God is
Good.
still good.
Yes, he
God is
is.
good. God is
Yes.
good. Even with all the suffering, because there's one thing I know about suffering. It either going to separate you from God or it's going to bring you closer.
Right. Right.
And so with me, it has just brought me closer. Because
Mm,
when I would hurt so badly that I couldn't move, I didn't want to breathe, I would hurt so badly.
goodness.
I would just call Jesus, just call on him. Lord, help me. Help
Mm.
me. Lord, help me. That would be my prayer. Lord, help me. And I would just lay there and tears would just run from my eyes.
Oh goodness.
Where else would I go but to the Lord? Whom
Yes.
else can help me but God?
Oh
Who
my
can
goodness.
deliver me but God?
But God.
But God. Let me tell you though, that when I was at my daughter's house that Saturday morning, I woke up and God said to me, by the time Amaya reaches the age of 3, Shell will have a baby boy. I sat up on the side of the bed and I said to my husband, guess what the Lord just said to me? He said, what? He said, by the time Amaya reaches the age of 3, the Shell will have a baby boy. And he said, you're going to tell her? I said, yes, we were getting ready to go to church.
Mm.
And so on the way to church that morning, she and I was sitting in the back, and her husband and my husband was in the front. And they were driving, talking. And I said, God gave me a word for you this morning. She said, what is it? And she got real nervous. And I said, what's the matter? She said, I don't know why I want to hear this because it's making me nervous. And I said, God said, by the time Amaya was a little girl,
Mm.
by the time Amaya reaches the age of 3, then you're going to have a baby boy. Well, Amaya's birthday was January. Her birthday is on January 27th.
Uh-huh.
He was born October 17th.
Oh my goodness.
And she and I was in Walmart one day. She and I were in Walmart, and she put all this medicine in the cart. And I said, what are you doing? And she says, I have a cold and I need to get some medication. And she was just putting all these vitamins and different things. And I was taking it out. She was putting it in and I was taking it out. I said, why don't you go see the doctor first? And she
Mm.
said, why? I said, well, just go see the doctor first. You're taking all this medication. You don't know why. And then she said, do you know something I don't? I said, I don't think so. And I said, do you know something I don't? And she says, no. So we went home that evening
Mm.
and she called me to the room and she said, come here. So I went in the room and she had this little pregnancy stick thing.
Uh-huh.
And she said it turned, the 2 lines came up before it ever finished processing.
Oh. Oh
Oh my
goodness.
God. And then God said to me that she's that he gave her the son last because all she ever wanted was a son. And when I said
Oh.
that to her, she just stood there and looked at me. She said, well, I didn't. I only wanted one child and she wanted a boy. But
Oh.
I dreamed her second child and God gave me to give her to tell her when her first child was going to be born. And she was getting ready to have surgery so that she could have a baby. And she
Huh.
was already pregnant. She was already, the doctor said, you won't be able to have any children if you don't have this surgery. And I said, that's not so, because God said at the appointed time, you're going to have that child. And while she was on the phone with me, and we were finalizing my trip up there for when she had her surgery,
Uh-huh.
the doctor was telling her she was already pregnant.
Oh.
Tell me God is not still doing. God is
Yes, he
still,
is.
he is still blessing. He is still, see, people just don't realize. I had a person tell me one time that God did miracles a long time ago.
Mm.
And I'm like,
Mm.
well, that's not true. God is still doing miracles.
Right.
Because I'm a walking miracle.
Yes.
Um, I am a true walking epistle, testimony for the Lord. That's who I am because I believe that's
Yes.
why God saved me. I truly do.
Yes.
so that I could be a mouthpiece for him. I truly do.
Mm.
I had people tell me, how can you serve a God who let you suffer that way?
Hmm.
God did not, he did not bring this suffering upon me.
Tell it, because I'm glad you said that. Yes, tell that.
God did not bring this suffering upon me, but I have him to help me to go through it. I would not, where would I be without him in the midst of all that I go through? Where would
Yes,
I be?
right.
I'd rather go through it with him than to be without him and not. Because let me tell you, in my life, I truly believe if I have not had all the suffering, God wouldn't be able to use me the way he does.
Yes,
I wouldn't be where I am in him. I think that with all the suffering, it has just rooted and grounded me in him because it caused
exactly.
me to really dig into the word, to truly see what it says, you know,
Yes.
and to get that word and to bring it unto myself and to receive that word for me.
Mm.
And it has truly worked in my life. I'll
Oh,
never forget. God said, I'm going to put healing in your hands. And one day I went to pray for this girl, and she had a cold. I went to pray for her because she was sick. And
uh-huh.
when God said, take off all your clothes, she took all the clothes off, all of my hands, and I had some oil that I prayed over. And I was, um, all in her body and praying for her. And there was a huge mole about an inch long on her inner thigh.
Huh.
I did not know that that thing was bothering her so bad that she said when she walked, it burned so bad because it rubbed against her leg.
Uh.
And it was about every bit of an inch, inch and a half. I'll say it was long because when I rubbed my hand over, I was like, oh, and then God said, curse it. And I
Mm.
cursed it in the name of Jesus. Well, this was on a Wednesday night. Went on to Bible study. Saturday morning, she said she got in the shower and she was taking a shower and she realized she didn't hit it. It
Huh.
wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Oh my goodness.
And it's still not
Miracle.
there today. It
Wow.
wasn't there. God moved. Don't tell me God's not doing miracles. Don't
He's
tell me
doing
God's not
miracles.
doing
He
miracles. Yes,
is.
he is. If you don't believe, you cannot receive what you cannot believe.
That's, oh, yes. Yes.
You can't even receive God if you don't believe he can do those things. He can't do those things for you if you don't believe he can.
Yes.
You can have what you can believe. If I tell you that God will do these things for you and go to the word and open the word and say, look, and show you in the word where God said that these things are possible, that all things are possible if you
Mm.
believe in him. Well, and you still don't believe it because you don't see it, that's not faith.
Yes.
Faith says I believe it even though I don't see it, but I still believe it.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to have faith for that you can see.
No.
You don't need faith for what you can see. You need faith for those things you
That you
cannot see.
cannot see.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh gosh.
So I know he has done some awesome things, and God has done some awesome things in my life. He has.
Yes.
He has.
Oh, and I appreciate you sharing those because sometimes people, I think a lot of people have neglected their prayer life because they see, like you said, that Satan is running rampant and things are happening. And they're thinking, well, God, where are you in all of this? And
Yes.
sometimes it's not until we really slow down. It took me slowing down. God had to bring me home. I got so sick, I
Mhm.
ended up having a seizure and couldn't do anything else. And it was only
Mhm.
then that I finally looked around. And when I began to look around, everything like, okay, remember you got this? Remember when you didn't have money and you didn't know where it was? Only then I began to see, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
God has been doing miracles for me for a long
Yes.
time. But I was so busy looking for
Mhm.
the big thing and looking for money to
Mhm.
rain down out of heaven and looking for
Mhm.
that I
Mhm.
missed, oh, so many times that my life was spared. And so many
Yeah.
times when I was without and God provided.
Yeah.
And we know
Yes.
it's
Yes.
so busy and a lot's
Yes.
going on,
Glory to
but
God.
God is still in the miracle working business.
Oh, yes, he
We
is.
must trust in him. Yes.
Yes. Yes. He has to sometimes move us out of a place where we're at,
Yes.
because sometimes that place consumes us. We are
Yes.
consumed by the things that goes on there. Sometimes God have to move us out of that place, and sometimes we're in that comfort zone. We're so comfortable where we're at that God have to move us and make us uncomfortable so we'll seek him. Because if
Yes.
you feel like you have everything, you don't need him, then
Right.
you need what God can give you that you can't get from anywhere else.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so salvation only comes through God. Peace only comes through God. You
Yes.
will not have peace in this world, because Jesus said he did not come to bring peace to this world. He did
Mm.
not come to bring peace here. He came to separate fathers and sons and mothers and daughters. And because when you accept Christ and the other people in your home don't, aren't you separated?
That's right.
You are
Yes.
separated. You are separated, and husbands and wives and children, you're separated.
Yes.
Because you have some people who live together well. Well, I did for almost 18 years. I
Mm.
did. I lived in the house, you know, with my husband, and he was not saved.
Yes.
It was hard. It was truly hard.
Mm.
But God told me this one day. He said, I would give you what you need to stay, and I would give you what you need to leave.
That's
So it
right.
was up to me. It was
Uh-huh.
up to me. And so, but I decided to stay until all this other stuff happened. And that was
Mm.
my out. And I took it. And I don't regret it, not one day.
Yes.
Because it's hard. Light and dark has no communion at all,
Mm.
has
Mm.
no fellowship at all. And when you're living in all this darkness, you cannot see. You
Wow.
need some light in order to see.
Wow.
And Jesus is the light of the world.
Yes.
And when he light that candle, don't put it under a bushel. Sit it out where the world can see it.
The world needs to
So
see
many,
it.
so many of us, we light our candle and we walk around like we're hiding it under a bushel or something. But we
Yes.
say we have light, but you can't see it, or it's so dim that you got to really, really look to see it. And
Yes.
but see, the Christ in us should shine so the
Yeah.
world can see Jesus in us. That light in us should shine. It's so bright that when we
Yes.
speak to someone, they should be able to know that God resides there,
Uh-huh.
or to know that you the experiences, the things that you experience with the Lord gives you position.
That's right. Yes.
Without those experiences, you have no conversation.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Oh, yes.
So, so when you hear people um, talk about the Lord, and there is no change, there is no
Hmm.
process, there is no
Uh-huh.
progress, there is no, then there's not the Lord. Because when Jesus comes, he always made a change. There's a change. Wherever God goes, there's a change.
That's
Nothing
right.
stays the same. Nothing stays the same wherever God is. And wherever God is, there's light. There
Yes.
is no darkness where he resides. None
Wow.
at all, because he
Wow.
is light.
Oh, gosh. Oh, well, we're going to wrap this up. You have truly been a blessing. And I'm just so glad, you really gave us just a lot of insight, that God is still in the miracle business. People who are going through pain. There are a lot of people who will be listening who are just going through a lot of tragedy and not just pain, but their finances, and they're estranged from their children, and They have children who may be incarcerated. People are going through all kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we sometimes we go through these things and we don't speak about God because, for one, we feel sometimes outnumbered. We don't feel like
Yeah.
anybody wants to hear about God. Sometimes we
Yes.
feel ashamed. We get on social
Yeah.
media and some people won't even say, I just thank God. They don't want to let people know that they're affiliated with God.
Yeah.
They'll go home and say, thank you, Jesus, but won't say it, you
Yeah.
know. But it is, you're
But
right, it's time for our light to shine because people need to
mhm.
know that God is real. Dark
Yes.
forces are very real, and
Oh, yeah.
we are not
Oh, yeah.
outnumbered. You know, we as godly people and Christian people, we must get on our knees if we want
Yeah.
change to happen. If we want change to
Yeah.
come, we've got to return to our knees and pray.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
yes. But you know,
yes,
before we go though, I would like to mention this, and I won't take long.
yes,
I
please.
have a son that's incarcerated here in Colorado. Um, he's been in there now for about 2 years
Mm,
um, for something that he did not do. He um,
mm,
it's it's hard because it's you know, I'm like this. When my kids get in trouble, I'm the first one to say, you know, you did this, so you know you have to take the consequences for it.
yes.
I'm not going to uphold you in your wrongness, but this was not about him. This was about his wife. They were
Mm.
working at this school, and the mother got mad at her because she was telling the girl about Christ.
Oh,
And the girl came back and was talking to her about, was it wrong for her mother to have a wife, a woman for a wife? And so, of course, my daughter-in-law told her it was wrong and all these things. And the mother got so mad at her that she told her she was going to get her. She said, I'm going to get you for this. I will get you for this. But she never
wow.
thought in a million years that she would go after her husband.
Oh, wow.
She had this little 12-year-old girl to accuse her husband of touching her.
Oh,
Touching her, no, attempted to touch her, attempting to touch her. Now, the day that she said that he was supposedly had done this, they weren't even in town.
hmm.
The DA asked the judge if he could move the dates, and the judge said yes. He allowed it. He
Wow.
allowed it. Now,
Wow.
he took it from the 12th to the end of the month because he said the girl probably couldn't remember the date. You tell me if somebody tried to touch you, you're not going to remember the date.
Oh,
And
wow.
you're going to go tell your friends or somebody that somebody did this to you, or somebody would know about
Yes.
it other than you. Well, none of the little girls knew about this at all. Not even her friends. Nobody knew about this.
Huh.
So he gets a lawyer and he goes to court. And then for 2 years now, he was out on probation. And then they finally went back to court. And the first lawyer he had to fire because he was conversing with the enemy.
Mm.
It took them 5 DAs, five. It took
Wow.
5 DAs for them to bring this case to court.
Oh,
Five,
my.
because everybody kept declining. Everybody kept declining. They didn't want it. But then they found somebody who would do anything they asked.
Mm.
This man, they changed the tape, the interview tape. They changed it because we have the original tape. They changed
Wow.
it. The detective told him that she's gonna get him any way she can.
Oh, oh.
That's what
Wow.
she said. That's on the tape. And then when you're sitting there looking at the tape, you could see all the glitches in it, you know, where they've changed it. And then the she sat at the table with the DA and she helped choose the jurors.
What?
Yes, she did. She helped choose the jurors. But you know, that is nothing. Let me tell you.
Oh, that's the
The
enemy.
lawyer that he paid all this money for hundreds, thousands of dollars to, I'm
Mm.
sitting in court and I'm listening at this man, and he get to where he didn't have any questions to ask. He just asked the same questions over and over and over. Now
Wow.
he's supposed to be one of the third top lawyers here in Colorado, but
Wow.
I could have asked better questions, and I didn't go to school one day to be an attorney. My
Mm.
husband said, "Where did they get him from?" He was on. He was bought out. He was bought out. You
Yes.
tell me you don't have any proof at all. They couldn't find anybody to say that he did anything to this little girl. Now, see, I know my son, and I know he wouldn't have never touched her because she was a little white girl. Because he's
Mm.
never dated any white girls. He's never touched any white girls because he don't do white people like that.
Yes.
And that's just the truth. So when they come and told me that, I knew that wasn't true. And plus the
Mm.
the tape the text messages that they had, they took the wife phone. They took the wife phone and went through it and took the text messages out of it and said they would belong to him.
Oh, wow.
But it
Oh,
was her phone that says, I'm outside waiting for you. She would go pick the little girl up and take her to the movies. She had a relationship with this little girl. She'd go take out to eat. She'd go take her she and the other little her other little friends would go and they would go shopping and stuff, and she would buy her things. And one day I told her, they came to dinner at my house, and I said, you be careful, because
yes.
something's going to happen at that school to tear you all apart. Be careful,
Oh,
because you're
goodness.
getting too involved with the children and their problems. Well, when she told me what the mother said, I
Mm.
said, you need to leave that alone.
Yes.
Well, they gave him, but listen to this. Now, one of the jurors said they found him innocent on it was three charges. They found him innocent on the first two charges.
Mm.
But on the third charge, they found him guilty of the pattern of um, touching the little girl. But she only said he tried to touch her one time. So how is that a pattern?
A pattern.
Yes.
Wow.
The juror told his attorney that he didn't understand that word. He didn't know what it meant, because if he had, he would have never found him guilty.
Oh,
But
goodness.
when his lawyer took it to the judge said this, well, I just don't believe that he don't believe what that is, and I'm not going to explain it to him again. This is
Wow.
my courtroom, and I make the laws. Now that's what he said. And you
Wow.
know what? Everything that I tell you, I could back it up. Everything, everything. We have the transcripts, we have the tape, we have the text messages, we have all of that. This place here, I found out that if you are Black and you are a male, and don't let you be educated, because
Yes.
you are in for trouble. Um, my son had the first basketball team for Colorado. The first.
Hmm.
Of course, he lost that. All of his businesses, he lost that. His family went through pure hell
Yes.
behind, and the wife, she blamed herself because she was the one who brought the little girl into their lives. But he
Oh.
never had anything to do with the little girl. It was just her.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
she was a little girl, straight up and down, had absolutely nothing, no boobs, no butt, no nothing, just straight up and down. Had the little what you call the little legging things that you wear.
Yes. Uh-huh.
She would wear those to school. But she said now he was trying to stick his hand in her pants in the room with a room full of children, because the woman testified that she never left any of the children in any of the rooms by themselves at any time. She testified to that.
Oh, boy. Oh, my
So,
goodness.
and he got 10 years to life for
10
attempted
years
touch.
for
10 years,
attempted,
yes. No proof.
attempted touch. Oh, my God.
Absolutely no proof at all. None. None. Had no witnesses, no nothing. And the classrooms were right next to each other. His classroom is here, and his wife's classroom is right next to her. And um, and the little girl got on the stand and said, "Can I get a felony for this?" For
Huh.
what? Why would you ask that question? Can
Huh.
you get a felony for what? They did so much wrong stuff up in there. We're like, are you kidding me? Did he
Oh, my
allow?
gosh.
I mean, it was just so horrific. it was just awful. It was awful.
And
It was just
this is
awful.
the thing that's being faced. You know, a lot of mothers, a lot of families are going through this. A
Yeah,
lot of people are wrongfully accused, you know, based on, oh my goodness, that was just pure evil, just out of
yes,
pure evil. And
yes.
your son is facing 10, he's in prison now, 10 to
He's in,
life.
yes, for for trying to touch her, she said.
For just
For trying to
trying.
touch her. And she was a
Oh,
kid. She was a little kid. My son has had basketball teams over the years, girls and boys. He has trained individual girls and boys. Nowhere have no one ever brought him up on anything. My son was a pastor in the church, and he never
wow.
had any problems out of anybody. He ran his businesses and all this. Nothing until this little girl. And her mother threatened that she was going to get him because and everything that they bring up that he think is going to clear him, the judge
Yes.
allowed everything. And
Yes.
even the fact that the lady at the school, she brought the paperwork there saying that he was not there during that whole week. So it couldn't have been those days. Him and his wife was at a funeral. And the judge said, well, he said, well, you know, Your Honor, she may have just forgotten the date, so we'll just go with the month. And he just went with it. He just
Wow.
went, just changed the
Oh,
date,
you
you know.
all, that's what
Oh,
we
and
must
let me tell
pray.
you, the judge said this. Now, the judge would have been lenient on him, but he told him this. He said, Mr. Lattimore, he said, I'm going to put you in prison for 10 to life so you could think about what you did, because he didn't say he was guilty. And his lawyer said, but he always has maintained his innocence. He said, but I'm going to put him in there anyway so he could think about it. That's what the judge said.
Wow. Wow.
That's that's our beloved
Oh,
judge that we have down here. That he got threatened right after during the trial. He was threatened that they were going to kill him because there were 5 black boys that were accused of raping a girl, and come to find out the girl was sleeping with all 5 of the boys. And little white girl, she was sleeping with all these little black boys, and they threatened him.
mm,
And I would say, well, this is not going to go well because they're going to really make a mockery of my son because of it. They're going to make
yes.
an example of him. And
Yes.
that's what they did. And so now we're waiting for the appeal attorney. She's about she's about she told me last year that she had other people that were before him. What attorney do one person at a time? Tell me that. What
Mm.
attorney does that? They
Oh,
work on 3 or 4 cases at a time, sometimes more than that. And
yes.
she said, well, they had it where she could only she excuse me, that she could
Yes.
only get the thank you, the transcript May 9th. So it had to be a whole year before she could get it. And she
Wow.
told me, and she said, well, as soon as I get the transcript, but she said the time is running out for that and I'll be able to get it. And come to find out, she didn't tell me now that the judge signed for her not to be able to get it for a whole year. I
Wow.
had to find that out because it was in the paperwork that was written. Yeah. And I tried to call her. She won't return any of my calls. She won't return any of his wife's call. She's never been to see him, not one time, nothing, because they know they have made a royal mess.
Yes. Yes.
I found out one other thing, that there is nothing in his jacket. Tell
Nothing
me that.
jacket. No.
Nothing. Nothing. Not a thing. How is that possible?
Yes.
How is it?
Yes.
But you know what? I'm praying because, see, these people don't know. God told me this about these people. He said that he had to deal with Pharaoh because Pharaoh thought he was the God of the land. He
Uh-huh.
thought he was the God. But God said he dealt with Pharaoh and he's going to deal with them because they're not as powerful. They're not powerful, more powerful than him.
That's
And he's
right.
going to deal with them. So
Yes.
They really don't know who they put in prison. They really don't know who that boy served. They really don't. But he's in prison right now, preaching. Uh, he has
Mm.
the church services and things in there. He has a choir group thing going on in there. He has a Bible study going on in there. People have given their lives. People have even changed from wearing the little yellow shirts to the green.
Wow.
God is, you know what? You can't stop anybody when God got it going. You
That's
cannot.
right.
You know the
Yes.
word, you cannot stop the work. You cannot. They tried
Yes.
that with Joseph, put him in prison. What did Joseph do? He got in prison. He was still doing it, wasn't he?
That's
He
right.
was still doing it. You can't stop God. But you
No.
know what? It's better for you not to have messed with one of mine. It's better, God said, to put that millstone around your neck and be tossed
Yes.
into the
And
sea
be
than to mess with
tossed
one
into
of
the
mine.
sea. That's right. That's right.
You people don't realize. He said, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You don't understand. You cannot mess with God's people because he will deal with you.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
When God get finished dealing with Colorado,
Oh
you're
boy.
gonna know that it was God. You hear me what I say?
Oh yes.
No,
Yes.
I told him, I said, God got you while you're in there. God's got you. Because when he first went in, he was afraid.
Yes.
He was afraid. My son has never been in trouble. He was in the Air Force. He retired from the Air Force. He came home with all his PSD from being over in war and all this stuff. And then all this stuff happened to him.
Mm. Lord, Lord.
I thought about all these people walk around here doing all this wrong stuff, and they spend all of this money to put an innocent man in jail. So many innocent people are coming up now, coming out of
Yes.
prison that have spent all those years in there for nothing, for
It's
something they did
it's
not
a
do.
lot. Oh, but God is going to expose.
Oh,
I pray that God is going to expose a lot of wrong. People have
yes,
for years been getting away with it.
yes,
People for
yes,
years have been running cities and running
yes.
jurisdictions, and this is the time that it's
Mhm.
going to be exposed.
Oh,
All
yes.
wrong that's been done is going to come to the light.
Oh,
And
yes.
so, those who are listening, pray. If you can pray for this
Mhm.
mother, pray for that
Yes,
son,
yes. Me too.
everyone else who has loved ones incarcerated, and
Yes,
everyone else who's going through. You all, we got to band together to pray.
yes, we can.
God is
Yes, we can.
about to move.
Yes, he is.
Everyone hearing
Yes, he
me,
is.
I'm telling you now, God is about to move, and He will have vengeance is the Lord's, and so
That's right.
we're praying. If there are advocates in Colorado who will look into this case, we would appreciate that. But God already knew the outcome of this. God
Yes,
already knew
yes,
his
he did.
future, and God
Mm-hmm.
already knew what He was going to do concerning this whole situation and
Mm-hmm.
situation of others' lives. So we
Mm-hmm.
will not back down. We will continue to pray, and we
Yes,
will
we will.
continue to stand fast and believe. And I'm telling you, God is real. He had to show me who He was, but I'm so
Yes.
glad. Uh, I'm so glad too that He had mercy, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew what I wanted to do.
Amen.
But I'm
And
so
he's
glad
a loving God, though. He loves
that
you so much. He does.
yes, no matter what we've done, He's a
That's right.
He
That's right.
forgives. And I'm so glad that He did, because I didn't think I was worthy of it. And
Oh,
thank you, Jesus, that He let me
yes.
know you are,
Amen.
you are worthy.
Yes. But
Yes,
he said he died for us when we were all yet sinners. So
yes,
that is a whole lot. A whole
yes.
lot. When we were dead in our sins, he still died on that cross for us. He still went to the cross for us because he loved us so
Hallelujah.
much. Yes, he did.
Yes. You guys, this is Pearl Gibson. I told y'all she was a blessing. And
Praise
just the things she's touched, she's prayed for a lot of people, she's prophesied to a lot of people,
God.
and God is moving. Y'all, please,
Mhm.
if you say a prayer tonight, say a prayer for Miss Pearl Gibson and her family and her
Yes.
loved ones and everyone she comes in contact with. In the name of Jesus, we all ask that you touch and agree and pray for her and lift her up. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
You're a
you so
blessing.
much for having me. I
So
thoroughly enjoyed it.
well, bless you. And those who are tuning in, if you'd like to be on the show, please follow me at What's on Cortina Jackson's Mind. It's on Anchor and Spotify and Breaker and all these platforms. And make sure you tune into my YouTube channel. You can find it at Cortina Jackson. Go to my website at www.cortinajackson.com. Thank you. I love you. And God bless. Thank
God bless.
you.